Let us be honest. You are over 50, you have built a life of respect, yet you are still fighting a battle with lust that you thought would be over by now. It feels like a dirty secret, does it not? But listen to me, you are not alone in this. Many of us are struggling in the shadows, feeling the sting of shame while our peace erodes. Why is it so hard to look away? Today, I am revealing the psychological blind spot that keeps you stuck, and the one biblical truth that finally breaks the cycle. Let us get your integrity back. To reclaim that integrity we were just talking about, we have to look at the one place we usually ignore. We often think the problem is what is happening out there in the world, but the real blind spot is actually how we process what we see. This brings us to that single, powerful truth from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 28. Jesus said that if you look at someone with lust, you have already committed adultery in your heart. Now, I know that for many of you, those words feel like a heavy weight or a final judgment. You might feel the urge to turn away because it seems like an impossible standard to meet. But please, stay with me, because there is a life-changing secret hidden inside those words that most people completely miss. This verse is not a prison sentence, it is a diagnostic tool. It is pointing out that your blind spot is thinking that a lingering look is harmless. We think we can entertain a fantasy and keep our peace at the same time. But the truth is, every time you allow your mind to dwell on that desire, you are fracturing your own soul. You are trading your solid, long-term happiness for a 3-second spark. I am going to show you how this one insight is actually the key to a freedom you have not felt in years. I remember a man I knew years ago named Thomas. Thomas was a good man. He had been married to the same woman for 35 years. He sat in the same pew at church every Sunday. But Thomas had a secret. It did not start with an affair. It started at a local coffee shop where he saw a woman much younger than his wife. He did not just notice her beauty, he began to feed on it. Every morning he would sit there and wait for her to walk in. In his mind, he started a second life with her. He imagined what she would say, how she would laugh, and how she would make him feel like a young man again. When he went home to his wife, he was physically there, but his heart was still back at that coffee shop. He was committing adultery every single morning, just as Jesus warned, because he was giving his intimacy to a fantasy instead of his reality. Thomas thought it was a victimless crime. He thought, I am not hurting anyone, I am just looking. But that is the blind spot. That fantasy was like a slow poison. It made his wife look older in his eyes. It made his home feel boring. He was starving his real marriage to feed a ghost. By the time he realized what he had done, he had lost the ability to be present with the woman who had actually walked beside him through the trenches of life. He traded a lifetime of gold for a few minutes of painted glass. So, how do we stop the cycle? Most people tell you to just use willpower, but willpower is like a muscle, it gets tired, especially at the end of a long day. You do not need more willpower, you need a better strategy to guard your heart. The first tool is what I call the 3-second rule. You are a human being, you are going to notice beauty. You cannot stop the first look, that is biology. But the second look, that is where the fantasy begins. You have exactly 3 seconds to turn your eyes away before that image takes root in your mind. Do not fight the thought, simply acknowledge it and move your gaze to something real: the sky, the grass, or the book in your hand. The second tool is to starve the ghost. Thomas, the man I mentioned earlier, was feeding a ghost every morning at that coffee shop. Today, our coffee shop is our smartphone. If you are spending your nights scrolling through images that you know will trigger those old hungers, you are setting yourself up for failure. You would not leave your front door wide open for a thief, so do not leave your mind open for these digital temptations. Remove the apps, block the sites, and clean your digital windows. The third and most powerful tool is the anchor of the present. Lust is always about something that is not here, a person who is not yours, or a life you do not have. Every time a lustful thought hits you, use it as a signal to look at your real life. Look at the wife who has stayed by you. Look at the children you have raised. Ask yourself, am I willing to trade this solid gold for a handful of sand? When you fill your heart with gratitude for what is real, there is simply no room left for what is fake. Listen to me, my friend. We are all works in progress. Having gray hair does not mean you are perfect. It only means you have survived enough battles to know which ones are worth fighting. Do not beat yourself up over a thought that crosses your mind. Just do not invite that thought to stay for dinner. Your peace, your integrity, and the quiet joy of a clean conscience are the things that matter most in this season of your life. You are not a slave to your impulses. You are a person of character. And today is a very good day to reclaim your territory. If you are committing to guarding your heart starting today, please leave a comment below with the words, "My peace is worth it." It lets me know that we are walking this path together. Thank you for sitting with me here on the porch today. Your time is valuable, and I do not take it for granted. If this message spoke to your heart, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. We are building a community of people who want to grow in wisdom and find true stillness in a noisy world. Stay strong, keep your heart clean, and I will see you soon on the porch.